You guys, we're back. All 52 podcasts. Sean, Javon. Breaking news was what last night, like midnight, 1 o'clock. Giannis to Miami. We had to jump on pod. We got another pod tonight. NBA draft. A lot of NBA talk. Javon, what's going on, man?
I'm all right. I was on the road a lot yesterday, so I missed what was going on during the day and fell asleep for what was going on at night. Uh, man,
Missed the whole day.
what a day! Yo, so I'll tell y'all how I spent my day. So anybody who keeps up with my work, two St. Joe's prep kids, uh, that committed to Syracuse, the beat down of the guy or whatever. One of them had their hearing yesterday. So I told my boss, I was like, I took Monday off, but I will gladly take my off day back. Since I was using it to drive back to Syracuse anyway, I'll take my off day back and stop in Philly on my way back up to Syracuse for the hearing. They wound up postponing the hearing to July 10th so it can be the same thing as one of the other kids. And then while I'm in the courthouse, I come out, Sean. You ever have the moments where you have to like just keep asking yourself, yo, am I tripping?
All the time.
Yo, so I'm going to walk back to my car. And my car ain't there. Matter of fact, it's another car in the spot. I'm like, yo, I'm not like this is where I park. Like, I know Philly. You know what I mean? This is where I park. I know where I'm on Arch Street. I know where I'm at. Like, yeah, hit JFK, turn right, boom, right here. So I checked my Apple Maps and it's saying my car's still there. I'm like, hell no, this ain't right. So I checked my LoJack and I see my car is in South Philly. I'm like, what the hell? Call the Uber to go to the address. And then while I'm in the Uber, I Google the address and it's the impound lot. I said, what the hell? So I look to the right. Look, I look to the right. Because there's a sign. When I parked, there was a sign like no parking. But it said June 18th only, right? So I take a picture of the sign just in case, you know what I mean? Because I paid for the parking and everything.
Yeah.
Yo, I get down there. They said, yeah, it said you was parking the handicap spot. What? Yo, when I tell you I got back up there and I looked at the sign, it said handicap so small in the spot that you couldn't even see the sign. Because, normal places, yeah, Philly, I really got to know y'all because y'all already got the strictest parking authority in the world. I mean, these people wake up with a smile on their face to go ruin somebody's day. I don't know if you've ever witnessed it. Yo, normal places, handicap parking is just a handicap sign. It's a rectangle sign with the handicap symbol. They did the stick figure in the wheelchair with the blue outline.
Absolutely.
It ain't even that. They got a whole sign saying 2-hour parking, 3-hour parking, boom, 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 pay at the meter. And then at the very bottom, handicap parking only. Huh?
You didn't tell me that off camera. I didn't know that.
Bruh.
How much they hit you for?
$175 for the tow. Paid that. Then they talking about $3 something for the handicap. I said, buddy,
what?
If y'all got a Zoom court, I'm fighting this one. I ain't trying to hear. And I told my grandma, what's funny is, so I used my grandparents' truck when I went back home for the weekend, right? And I was about to park in the handicap spot because they got the stickers. So I'm telling my brother, get the sticker. And it's 3 of them in there. I said, they don't even need 3. I'm taking one back with me. I'm telling my grandma, she's like, yeah, take one. So I get up 5 o'clock in the morning and drive to Philly on Monday. And I forget to go grab one of the handicap stickers. I text my grandma from the impound line. I said, yeah, I'm need you to mail one of them because I'm going to need it. That's it. That's going to be my argument right there. It was hanging and they didn't see it. I got a picture of it right here.
Wow, you did not tell me that. They hit you $175 and a $300 ticket.
Boy, yeah, that's I'm fighting that.
That is tough.
That sign was so small, Sean.
That is tough.
And the car that took my spot didn't even have, like, no cars on that street had a handicap placard in them anyway.
Yeah, they got you. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm fighting that one. That's I'm getting that at least talked down a couple dollars. If I can't get it off, I'm getting that talked down at least a couple $100.
Yeah, Philly. Well, I already know how I feel about Philly. So if I could just always, I never have to go to Philly again in my life, I'll be the happiest person in my life. So, man, I'm not surprised that you got, but 175 with a 300 ticket. Woo,
Woo! They're
that's
talking about you
tough.
can pay it all right here, or you can pay the toll and dispute the ticket later. I said, yeah, I'll pay the toll.
Yeah, I'm
You ain't
disputing
getting
that
all that out
ticket.
of me right
Yeah,
now.
that's wild.
So
That's
yeah.
wild.
And then so yeah, I wound up getting the ticket for being somewhere I didn't need to be.
Yeah, so that's even a
Oh,
that
and
double whammy.
then the sucker ass uh prosecutor at the DA's office, bro. I go up there and I'm like, yo, who do I talk to see if we're actually going to have this hearing today? Yeah, who are you? Like, I'm a reporter, Syracuse.com. Oh, high profile case. Huh? I'm like, yeah, Messiah Asprey, if y'all can just, see if that hearing's going on. Who do I got to talk to? So they grabbed the guy, some skinny dude with the cheapest suit out of any of the lawyers in there. I'm talking, them lawyers were dressed down. And here he come with a cheap ass suit. No comment whatsoever. Yo, I ain't even asking for comment. I'm asking if y'all gonna have the trial, rat bastard. Like, you look like you can't fight. Yo, I'm telling you, man. I just really wish an assault charge really had a different meaning, because some people just need their ass kicked.
Oh man, you had a tough day yesterday.
Boy, I had a day. Then great weather back home all weekend. Great weather in Philly too, of course, when they got the game delayed yesterday. As soon as I hit the Lehigh Valley, rain. Get to Syracuse, rain. Like, man, what?
Oh man, that dude said no comment, yo. And by the way, I gotta double down on this because some parking lady gave me a hard time the other day in Atlanta. I had a whole bunch of
y'all got it worse down there. You think it's a free
worse.
parking lot, and here comes somebody, $20 for me to park it. What?
No, I'm talking about the ones who actually work and like give tickets and stuff.
Oh, in actual parking.
Yeah. I do not. I had issues with Massachusetts, and then the other day, man, I respect people getting a job and making money, honest money, but that's the worst job you can have. And I would sell crack before I have that type of job.
I ain't gonna lie, working for the parking authority is like, that's the hater. You got to be a real hater to work for the parking authority.
And they're always mean, and like the lady was like, "You got to move." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm taking a conference call right now. Just let me get." I've been sitting for 5 minutes, and I was like, every time I get into a confrontation with these people, I'm like, you have to be a miserable person to have this job. I can never do it. I'm too nice. I couldn't do it. It's the worst job you can have.
I'm telling you, messing up your day is what makes their day, man.
Yeah.
They like stink meaner than hatocracy. Just love to hate.
Just hate. I wonder how that interview goes. Like, they had to see how mean you are, how a-hole you can be, because that's the worst job you can have. I'm dead serious. Can't knock it.
All right. Well, Sean, we've been criticizing the Miami Heat for a long time on this podcast.
Yep.
They just swear they don't want to give up their assets to go land a big fish, and they finally landed one. The Miami Heat are receiving Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis from the Milwaukee Bucks for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yakachounis, 3 first-round picks, including number 13 in tonight's draft, a second-round pick in 2033, and a pick swap, first-round pick swap, I want to say in either 2030 or 2031, one of them. Sean, you and I don't think we are the most excited about this one.
Nah, I'm not excited for either of them. I looked at it a couple times this morning. I saw it a little bit last night because I was up and I'm tired. I'm going to bed, but it just didn't make sense to me. It does not make sense because what is left over in Miami? Miami gave up three rotational players, four. Well, the kid from Illinois, he was a backup, but whatever. He still was a high pick last year. So you gave up 4 rotational guys for Giannis and Bobby Portis. You have no ball handling. When your point guard is Davion Mitchell, I don't see it. And Norman Powell is a good player, but I think he's more of a 6-man type of guy. I don't see why Giannis was so eager to be moved out of Milwaukee, because I look at the roster, and Bam is cool. I know me and you have our reservations about Bam as an overall player, but he's a good third piece in the championship team who's your closer? Who's your guy who's going to get you a bucket on the wing? Like, and that's how you have to play in the NBA.
Norman Powell.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I no disrespect to Norman Powell. No disrespect. But there's levels to this. Who's your Kawhi? Who's your Kobe? Who's your guy? I don't see it. Like, are they gonna try to go a traditional like big lineup type of team and try to beat teams that way? Like, I don't know. I don't see it. Again, do I trust Pat Riley? In recent years, no. Like, and Giannis is injury prone at 31 years old with a roster that's very bare. You don't have a lot of cap space. I just don't get it. If I was Giannis, I would have pushed to get traded to Boston or Portland or somewhere else that had more, that even after you traded for me, I still had some pieces left to work with. I don't like this trade. I think it's good for Miami because Miami needed a star in this aspect, a superstar, and they've been dying for a superstar. No disrespect to Jimmy Butler, a superstar since LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, a face that could carry weight in the league. And they got that, but at what cost? Because I don't think it makes you. Does it get you out the play-in tournament? Maybe 6. Yeah, I'll get you to 6th or 5th in the East. But does it raise your ceiling to be a champion? I gotta see it. It's TBD. And from Milwaukee's point of view, I don't get it. Like, you didn't get any centerpieces. You didn't get any centerpiece. All right, you got the 11th. You got your first round pick this tonight, which is 10th, I think, and then you got the 13th pick in a really good draft. All right, you bet. When I say better, they better hit on these 2 draft picks tonight, and one of them has to be better than we think they're going to become. Because who else is a piece that you can be? Jaime Jaquez is cool. Where let's see. Maybe he gets more opportunity. I do like him with Taylor Jenkins, so let's see. I think Tyler Hero is a free agent after the season, so I'm not bringing Tyler Hero back. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just baffled by this trade. So I would say it's a C for both teams. In a Milwaukee, if they hit with these 2 picks and the new draft rules over the next couple of years, it could mean something, but I'm not sure because they did get the draft picks later on, which is good because I don't see this Miami Heat team, Giannis, aging gracefully because of all of his injury concerns already.
I think you're being tough on the Bucks. First of all, I'm starting with the Heat. You just forgot to mention the biggest thing. Bam and Giannis won't work together. And we've been calling for Bam to become a power forward like he should be at his frame for years now, which means getting a consistent 3-ball. Then it still has not happened. You want Bam and Giannis starting together down low? All right, nobody's getting the layup on you. You got all the help defense in the world, but how in the world are you going to score on offense with Davion Mitchell as your point guard? So I would hope the Heat are not done building their roster. I don't know what there is to add with what money and what assets, but the Heat cannot be done. This is an incomplete roster with pieces that don't fit. Like, hell, flip Bam. You got Giannis and Portis, and Bobby Portis does not need to be anybody's 6th man. It needs to be starting 4 next to Giannis at the 5. So you can flip Bam for some other assets, then you're cooking with grease. But again, I'm not giving up 3 first-round picks, including my lottery pick this year, and a swap for Giannis. When's the last time he's been available in the postseason? When's the last time Giannis has won a playoff series? Like, of all the times you miss on a fish, and you could have offered packages just like this, you passed on all of them for the worst one that you could get out of the bunch. That's bad. That's real bad. For Milwaukee, I like it. You got 2 lottery picks tonight. You have 2 picks, 2 drafts from now, and 2 picks, 2 drafts after that. And a swap coming your way.
Whoa, no, I got to correct you. Remember, Portland owns a lot of Milwaukee's picks. So a lot of those years they're going to get just on the Miami.
Yeah, they're just getting their pick back. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Miami's pick to replace their own. You're right.
Yeah.
So still, at least you have picks to actually be able to do something with now. And you said it. Taylor Jenkins is player development. You know, I love Killer Ware, and I love Kaspar Jakachonis at Illinois. I think he is going to be just fine for those two. I think he'll be fine for Jaquez, and you're not financially tied down because Hero's in the last year of his contract.
Good
You
point.
got an excuse with Ware to get rid of Miles Turner, who also needs to be somebody's power forward and not at center because him and Jaren Jackson, neither one of them can rebound. They can shoot the three, they can block shots, but they can't rebound worth a damn. They are the definition of power forwards. So for Milwaukee, I'm fine. I think you got all you could get. Matter of fact, I think you got to steal because I don't think Giannis was supposed to be worth any more than one first-round pick and multiple good young players, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Like, seriously, I don't think Giannis himself is worth Hero Ware in tonight's first-round pick. And even then, I'm still like, oof. All right. Adding Bobby Portis is not enough for two more firsts. Jakachonis, Jaquez, a swap, and a second-round pick.
Like, well, that Portis contract was just thrown in so they can get off his numbers.
Yeah, no, you're right, but he's still Bobby Portis is a very good. The San Antonio Spurs would love to have grabbed Bobby Portis in a trade. Would have loved it. Yeah. So, like, I think the Bucks got away with highway robbery. I really do. So, I'm giving the Bucks an A-. Only because you said they didn't get their cornerstone piece, but in trades like this for a guy like Giannis, all things considered, I don't think you're getting a cornerstone piece back. But I do think you have a multi-time all-star on your hands in Killer Ware. And like you said, you gave yourself a second bite at the apple tonight to land a cornerstone piece. Because now, if you got 10 and 13, you have the opportunity to trade up. So I love this for Milwaukee. It's Miami that I'm not a fan of.
I think let's see, and we're gonna do the draft tonight. Let's see who they get at 10 and 13. Or if they move up and they can go get one of these point guards, even though see like redundance on that roster because they already have Hero. What was the kid?
Hero's a 2. Kevin Porter Jr., if they can let him be a 6th man, because I think he's a combo guard, you're fine. I think Ryan Rollins is a combo guard. I don't think drafting Michael Brown or Kingston Fleming or Darius Acuff, neither one of them are going to fall that low. They have to trade up. But I don't think it'd be a bad move drafting one of them. I think they have room for one more guard. Hero, Rollins. I don't know if Porter's under contract. And then one of those guys isn't bad at all.
I think with Milwaukee, the only way I could sell myself on this, and I've read that Haslam wanted this deal over the Celtics deal because he didn't want another situation with Jaylen Brown in a year. It's like, hey, I don't want to be here.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett and now with Giannis. You don't want that. You want to be able to have to build a culture there. So I understand why they took the deal. So maybe I could look at it as a positive in this aspect. They were able to get a lot of assets, right? And maybe you could flip Hero at the trade deadline or whatever the case may be. And I think this is a bet on what Taylor Jenkins was able to do in Memphis. I got to be honest. If he's the right coach for this job, if he was saying anyone else, I would be like, but I do have a lot of faith in Taylor Jenkins. So if you get a lot of plays, they got to go best available for these two picks if they stay at 10 and 13. It cannot be about fit or anything. When you're in this situation, you need to go get as many good players as you can. And then you figure out who's a cornerstone piece over the next couple of years, who's not, what we can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what they have to figure out. And so if you flip it in my mind to that over the Boston deal, I agree with you in that aspect. I still don't, I got to see.
But here's the thing with the Boston deal though, Sean.
Go ahead.
You've been getting Jaylen Brown. What about the rest of your roster? It still wasn't good enough.
No, I get it. I get why they took it. And Jaylen Brown's turning 30 this year. It didn't make sense. I get that. And you would have got 2 first-round picks with Boston, but you have Tatum who still that meant nothing. So it didn't work. The only way I would have done it, if you told me I could have flipped Jaylen Brown to Portland and I would have got all my first-round picks and Scoot Henderson my own first round picks, then I can tank and I can rebuild that way, and I could be in control of my own fate. I would have been all in on that. But now you're going to be with that collection of talent. You're going to be in that 4 to 10 range. I don't think they have the worst rosters in the NBA. I think Chicago does, and maybe a few other teams. I think you're going to be in that 4 to 10 range where you could hit on a draft pick or something like. Well, no, actually, because their pick belongs to Portland, so they have to
be honest with you.
compete.
I know you got mad last week about calling the East weak, because it still is, by the way. Like I said last week, it's top heavy, but it's not strong. Now look at this Milwaukee roster, just as it stands today.
I know where you're going to go with this.
With Jenkins,
I know it's going with this.
they were 32-50 this year. And
Yep.
this playing by 11 games, which, by the way, that never happens in the East. So there was some real bad teams had going on this year.
It was a lot of tanking. It was a lot of tanking. People lose a lot on purpose.
Sean, the Bucks ain't finishing 11 games worse than the play-in this year. I don't think so. Like, Detroit's not winning 60 games again. They're not coming close to 60 next season. Hate to break it to you. Well, granted, free agency and the draft still have to happen. Detroit's not coming close to 60 wins. Whoever wins the East next year is going to be a 55-win team. Putting it down right now. Cleveland, a full season of Harden after how the Eastern Conference Finals went. And if Evan Mobley doesn't get better, they're really stuck. I don't think they even reach 50 wins next year. Toronto, they got 46 this year. I think that's their peak. Atlanta.
I like Atlanta. I like what they're building. I love that Wiggins trade, by the way.
I like Atlanta. I like Aaron Wiggins. Don't they have to re-sign CJ McCollum?
They just did. They extended him 1 year.
They extended him 1 year. We shall see if they're still at 46. We got to see if Philly can replicate this season. Orlando, I think, gets worse. And Charlotte, they wanted Nick Claxton. So now they are still at their little 4 perimeter guys, and Cisse and Calvin are going back and forth. I think the Bucks are going to have a chance at the play, is what I'm getting. I truly do.
I would say this, though.
And with the new anti-tanking rules and how the new lottery is going to go.
Yeah. With the collection of talent.
They'll be between 38 and 42 wins. And that's going to reward them in the lottery, even if they miss the play-in.
I think 35 to 40 wins. More realistic for that team. But I see what you're saying. A lot of collection of talent and a really good coach. They can probably surprise some teams. But a few things. Charlotte should be a top 5 team in the East next year. And Atlanta has a lot of
that's assuming, because that lineup was only for what, the last
30-something games.
Last half of the season.
Yeah.
The last half of the season. All right. That's about to be your whole season. It ain't a guarantee. Teams have seen you, and they know LaMelo still has his tendencies. Like, remember when J.J. Redick got the Lakers job, he just swore using the lineup that worked the best for Darvin Ham was going to do something. And he had to change that lineup multiple times his first couple months on the job. So ain't no guarantee that lineup's going to stick for Charlotte.
No, I agree. But I think those two teams in Atlanta and Charlotte, one of them will be better than we expect.
I think one of them's going to get better. And one of them's going to get worse.
I really like what they're doing in Atlanta, and I really like what they're doing in Charlotte. So I'm high on those two teams, but we'll see how it goes. And I like what Atlanta has the 8th pick in the draft this year. And this tonight, if they can get their Flemings or their point guard of the future, we might be having a different conversation. Like, who knows? I really do like what the position Atlanta was, especially a year ago. And we're going to talk about your boy who got paid ridiculous amount of money, but we'll talk about that in a second. And so, but yeah, I think overall, you're right. Now I think about it, Milwaukee has a collection of talent, and they can't really bottom out because they don't own their own picks. That's why I would have took Jaylen Brown and flipped him to Portland if I could have got my own picks back. But for what they got, they'll be competitive. And you probably, if you like Hero as a combo or as a combo guard, you can sign him for a much cheaper deal. He won't get that much money, as much money as he was getting paid in Miami, which was ridiculous. So the key for them is where has to be what you think he can be, and then these two picks got to hit. That's why I
Yeah.
think. And then if those two things, because Jaquez is a good 6-man, I think he could be moved eventually for another piece. At least some of these guys can be flip. Jaquez can be flip. If you wanted to flip where, and you have future picks with Miami, which are favorable, especially because in 4 years, Giannis is 35, and then they got the 36. It might not be, those might be really good picks. So, especially if the lottery stays the way it is.
All right. So, Sean, Jaylen Brown, let's call it like it is, since that championship, has been the best player on the Celtics. He has carried the Celtics, and he carried them last year, and was robbed of MVP. And somehow, some way, he found himself being dangled in this Giannis trade. Um, and I think we can come to the conclusion that he thinks he's number one and wouldn't mind being somewhere where he's number one. I mean, this is the guy who has the Finals MVP under his belt, and said this season was his favorite season of his career. What do you do with him?
So I think it's this. He definitely wants to be his own man. You could tell him and Tatum are it's cool. I don't think there's any beef. They just don't hang out. They're not the same type of cats. They don't move in the same type of circles. I don't think either of them think they're Scottie Pippen. And no disrespect to Scottie, right? And I don't think they in this NBA with the neither of them have to be Scottie Pippen. One of them could have their own team. And Jaylen Brown has proved to me this year he can have his own team. But I look at things like this, cautionary tales. I watched Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter talk on the Cousins podcast, and their biggest regret was not trying to make it work in Toronto because they could have won multiple titles together or had a chance there. Shaq and Kobe.
Could they?
I don't know. That's what they say. You know what I mean? Like, did I see T-Mac becoming what he became in Orlando? He never had the opportunity. But also my point is Penny and Shaq and Kobe. It's hard to win championships.
Like, are we sure? Like, that's my other thing. Are we sure Penny and Shaq was going to win?
Who knows, man? I'm just using
you know,
but it's
not because I'm just saying like these are like the common ones you hear.
Yes.
And I sit there, I'm like, yeah.
Marbury, Garnett.
Penny would have had to become more of a scorer, and Marbury would have had to come off the basketball for him and Garnett. I do think if he stayed with KG, he would have force fed him. So, but I mean, it's still Minnesota and the rest of the roster. And we know Minnesota knows how to squander its window. Shout out Vince Goodwill, by the way, because he had an awful take of the Larry O'Brien becoming a participation trophy. But I guess he's starting to get back to respectability because they asked which franchise deserves a championship most, and he gave a very great argument for Minnesota. All their guys leave and win elsewhere. Garnett left and won immediately. Kent left, won in New York. Kevin Love left, won in Cleveland. And you just hope Anthony Edwards ain't next. And apparently the clock is ticking when it comes to Ant. So I'm with Goodwill. It should be ticking. It should be because
they just
we'll talk about that in the next segment. Yeah.
It should be ticking. And yes, it should be ticking. But regarding Jaylen Brown, my point is be careful what you wish for because you could go anywhere and put up numbers. Vince Carter became a Hall of Fame, T-Mac became a Hall of Famer, cool. But they both didn't win an NBA championship. And I know
couldn't win a playoff series.
He couldn't, right? It's tough. And look at let's call a spade a spade. He's the best player. You guys said he's the best player. That fourth quarter against Philadelphia in Game 7, we came on this podcast and said it. We're not going to sugarcoat it. That was horrible. That wasn't best player. That was horrible. They showed you couldn't close. That's what it showed me. When all the pressure was on you. I'm going to call a spade a spade. So be careful what you wish for. So if you want that responsibility, go. Everybody has a chance. You have a title. Everybody has a chance to want to expand their game. I get that part. But it ain't easy. And you've been to 6 conference finals, 2 NBA finals with the Boston Celtics. I think Boston explored Giannis because of that comment and they probably had internal conversations like, hey, it's going to be really hard for Jaylen Brown to take a step back next season with Jason Tatum. Because I do think Jason Tatum is a better player than Jaylen Brown. But Jaylen Brown, he has that moxie. He has that confidence. That he has that swag about him that he thinks he's better than what he is. And I like that. I think that makes him better than what he is. But be careful what you wish for, because it's not as easy being the man on a Midland team or in the Western Conference or something like that. You should appreciate being in Boston, in a great city, a great sports town. And again, I'm not mad at the Celtics for trying to get Giannis because of if that's what he wants. But be careful what you wish for, because there's cautionary tales. You may never get back to a conference final or NBA championship as the man. And honestly, I trust Jason Tatum with Brad Stevens to get to a championship, because I love Brad Stevens as a president, executive. Then I trust Jaylen Brown going to anywhere, unless he comes to Atlanta, because I really like this executive here in Atlanta, what he's done in building this roster out. But just be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm going to say.
So allow me to be Jaylen Brown real quick.
Go ahead.
Do I have a championship?
Absolutely.
Do I have a finals MVP?
Absolutely.
Have I been to another finals?
Yes.
Have I been to 4 more conference finals outside of that?
Yes.
Do I have my Supermax extension?
Yes. It's time.
Do I have my All-Stars and my All-NBAs?
Yes.
Did I finish top 5 in MVP voting this year?
Yes.
Shoot, I got my legacy. Time for me to go be my own player.
I respect it.
Why wouldn't? So, I just carried this team on my back for the last 3 years. If I'm Jaylen Brown, I stop saying I won Finals MVP.
Yep.
Y'all boy got hurt in the playoffs last year, and then I carried us to a season no one expected this year.
Yep.
And y'all still tried to move me for a guy who can't stay healthy. Yeah, okay. Get me out of here. I'm not coming back to play in Boston. I'm just not.
But do you
think
if
that's his opinion, and if that's how Jaylen Brown actually thinks, I'm behind him. I got no counter argument for it.
But don't you think Boston put him up because of conversations they've had behind the scenes that he wants to be his own guy?
And that probably is why.
Yeah,
like but that's so I can understand both sides, but this is going to be one of them few times, Sean. You're Mr. Player Empowerment, not me. This is going to be one of them few times where I'm on the side of the player. Hey, man, nah. Forget what y'all think about me and JT. They said we couldn't win, and we already did it. And y'all going to still listen to the outside noise about it and dangle me. Nah, it's clear. That's y'all guy. That's cool. Y'all can have Mr. Light Skin. He's going to go over better with the white folks in Boston than my dark ass.
Absolutely.
Get me out of here.
And I
ain't going to be mad at it.
And let's call it a spade. That's one of the reasons they're picking him, JT, over Jaylen Brown. And for the city they play in. I'm from there. The city play in.
We said that multiple times on this podcast.
Yeah. He's not outspoken. He's not going to say anything out of bounds. He's very PC. He's good for commercials and stuff like that. Good looking kid. He's the guy you're going to build in Boston. And the city factors into that. I think that's why JB in a city like Atlanta, Memphis, all those, he would excel really well. But in Boston, it doesn't play over well. And I'm going to call a spade, right? So I understand why Boston's like, yo, let's go high. And he wants to be the man. I get it. If I'm him, I want to force a way to be into Atlanta. But I'm just using it as a cautionary tale. Hey, you too, JT, Jaylen Brown, because JT has a voice in this too. It ain't as easy as you think being the man to win titles.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
So Boston missed that interior defender last year, right? And that versatility at the 5 spot for defense. We don't think Bam and Giannis are going to work.
No.
I'm Miami.
I'm not doing that from Boston.
I'm making the call. Hold on.
I'm not saying that. I'm just shaking my head.
I'm going to talk. It's going to be real simple. Brad, baseline. Norman and Bam for Jaylen. We can talk about anything addition, but baseline, does this tickle your fancy? Norman Powell fits Boston perfectly.
Yes.
Perfectly. And Bam Adebayo is the type of player the Celtics like. He just is. I'm offering you all NBA an all-star, and I'll throw something else in there if you asking. We can negotiate to get that problem off your hands.
And I get to keep White. I get to keep all my picks.
Yes.
Boston's a better team than Miami still.
Oh,
with
so
Bam, Powell.
Miami with the duo of Brown and so Miami would starting lineup as of now. I still want them to get a point guard, but as of this made-up scenario, Davion Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Andrew Wiggins, Bobby Portis, and Giannis is worse than Peyton Pritchard, Norman Powell,
Derek White, Norman Powell, Jason Tatum,
Bam, and
Sam
Hauser.
No, the center.
Nemius Queta.
Yeah.
So you're going to start Bam next to a non-shooting big.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to play a different type of style.
I'm going to be honest with you. I like Miami in that scenario. That's just me.
I don't.
And Derek White seems like his best days are behind him now.
It was all NBA defense. Come on.
Now, what about that jump shot was broke? That jump shot was broke.
He had a bad postseason. I'm not gonna lie, but what I just say about JB,
now, his regular season jumper was broke too. You couldn't bet Derek White for 3 threes like you used to be able to.
I'm still taking Derek White. I think he's a high level. He's one of the highest level role players you have in the NBA.
I think Miami would be. I would take Miami over Boston in that scenario. So I think that is a call for the Heat to make. If I'm right about this one, Sean, I'm be honest with you. I'm coming right back on here with we need a team. We're gonna start plotting up the scheme to get the money to get a team. If this one happens, I'm taking a lot of credit for this one.
I think you're a year too early with that because I heard the Godfather, Pat Riley, said, I ain't training Bam. This is his words, not mine.
You're right.
I'm not training Bam unless I could get the tall kid from San Antonio and 8 first-round picks.
He did say that dumb stuff. Yeah.
That's the Godfather. That's what they call him down in Miami. He said that. Bam ain't do that. But real quick, and then we can switch subject. Who would you trade if Bam's out of it? Who realistically should go after Jaylen Brown? I think Atlanta, and I think Portland would be the top 2 picks.
So if you got to find a third team to absorb somebody's contract. Because now that's Drew Holiday, Dame. No, Dame's on the cheap, ain't he?
Yeah, because remember, Milwaukee's paying him.
All right, how cheap is cheap? Hold on. 3 years, $42 million?
Yeah.
Cheap.
That's cheap.
That's a possibility. I'm not mad at Portland. You know, I'm always like, come on, if you can, Celtics will never do business with. But you can go from the defensive liability of Austin Reeves and old LeBron to Jaylen Brown next to Luka to give him a kick in the ass and give you some defense and some toughness on that team for the first time in Lord knows how long. I think that's a phone call you make. Who else though? Orlando? See if Boston is interested in Franz Wagner, in Jalen Suggs, and some picks, maybe. Because they need another scorer. And outside of that,
this is the thing about the Celtics, though. They have to realize you challenge Jaylen Brown, who's a top 10, 15 player in the league. You better get another top 10, 15 player. And that's why I don't like the Bam trade.
You got to get something.
Yeah, I would want Jalen Johnson from Atlanta. That ain't happening. Like, from Portland, I don't, unless you're getting Denny, that ain't happening. Portland ain't giving me him. Like, who are you giving me to replace a top 15 player? So what I'm doing out in Boston, best case scenario, we mend fences.
I want Naz Reid and TJ Shannon from Minnesota and some picks.
That ain't good enough. Because your Boston right now, I saw this. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it was me. I had Boston go to the NBA Finals when we started the playoff, right? To the NBA Finals. they're not far off from being back in the NBA Finals with the same team. They just need to make some improvement, get some size. So if I'm them, I told JB, listen.
Yeah, I don't think they should move him. Let's get that clear.
Me
I
either.
don't think they should move him. I think Jaylen Brown should think about getting out, but I don't think the Celtics should move him.
If JB says I want to be out, I want my own team, I'm moving him because I don't want that. I'm moving him, but I'm not moving him. He has 3 more years on his contract, and I can extend him 2 more years. So I tell him, JB, yo, listen, we either make this work. I'll even give you the 2-year extension for $110 million, whatever it was, and you sign, and you'll be a Celtics to 35. Let bygones be bygone. But unless I'm not moving him with 3 years on the deal and not getting a top 10, 15 player. Like, I got to get someone back who could replace him because everybody's talking about Giannis made sense to me because he's a top 5, 10 player. But who else are you going to go get to replace Jaylen Brown? and you're the best right now going into this season coming up. You're the 2 or 3 best teams in the Eastern Conference. You can win the East next year. You got to make it make sense to me because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm with you. What we got coming next?
All right, so Julius Randle was traded last night. It was like a salary dump to Brooklyn. Nick Claxton was moved to, which I like to move. We'll talk about this, to Chicago. And then Minnesota used that money to sign
the extend Osumu.
Osumu, yes. Forget about the teams. What's Anthony Edwards thinking about this morning? If you're Ant-Man here in Buckhead in Atlanta.
Yeah, I like when they moved Randle. When I woke up, all I saw first was the Randle trade.
Yep.
So I'm like, what did they get back? Nothing but picks. I'm like, all right, so it's a salary dump. Maybe they're ready to start Naz Reid at the 4, which I think is a better fit.
That's fine.
For McDaniels and Ant, and finally get Ant a point guard. Then I see they hamstrung themselves and use that money to extend Osunmu. So you got DiVincenzo and Osunmu and Ant. You got 3 2 guards who are all around the same size, who I don't really want playing the 3. I still got to find minutes for TJ Shannon, and I still don't have a point guard. And I don't have a real number 2 next to Ant either. I don't know. Like, this was good until they used the money on Osunmu, in my opinion. For Chicago, okay, you got a rim protector. So what's your future right now? Giddey, Buzelis, and Claxton. Okay. But what else? You know, we'll see what the Bulls have after the draft. I know. Exercised a few hours of patience. But we know they still have work to do on that roster because neither one of us think Dillingham's something special. Is Ant Simon still under contract?
He's a free agent. He's a free agent.
Free agent. So yeah, boom. Never mind. Yeah, Chicago's a long way away. You don't even have to worry about them. In Brooklyn, boy, some nasty hoops are on the way. I mean, you got 2 forwards who are about to be out there just looking to get their shots off. Michael Porter and Julius Randle together. Whew. All right. Have fun.
So I would say this. If I'm Ant-Man, I'm not sure what's going on. And I'm looking at that team that, again, Julius Randle, it's whatever. But using that money could have been done in so many different ways. Know what I would have done, or I would do if I'm Minnesota? And I know this is going to sound crazy, especially from me saying this. I would have tried to flip Osumu to the Lakers and got Austin Reeves back. And I know what you're going to say. What are you talking about? Austin Reeves next to Ant-Man makes way more sense to me on a long-term fit because you still will have Gobert to play defense and they have defensive principles. They need another guy on the perimeter who can create. And Osumu would be a better fit next to Luka than what Austin Reeves can do because I think their style of play is a little bit too similar with Luka and Austin Reeves. So the skill sets would have worked better. And I think Ant-Man's really close to Austin Reeves after their Olympic experience. That's what I would have done. I would have tried to do something different like that. But now, who's your point guard? At least Reeves could play the combo guard, point guard position that everybody plays now in this NBA. You don't really need a traditional point guard. Ask Jalen Brunson. And so, like, I would have done something like that than moving. I just don't love the move. You come back with the same team. What's the upgrades? You got to try something. You got to, because at one point, Ant-Man in a year or two will be like, yo, get me out of here. You have to try something.
Adding Austin Reeves would have sped that up. I really do.
Austin Reeves is better than Asumo. Like, we're not going to be disrespectful, man. Come on, man. We know basketball. He's a better player than him.
Can't use his left hand. Can't defend worth a damn.
I get it.
Is charming.
Jalen Brunson can't defend, but you can, if you play on his team, a defensive scheme, and you hide him, it can work, and he can score. Who can score on
the ain't about that hiding stuff. If you on Ant's team, you need to defend, period.
Michael Conley was getting minutes last year. No disrespect to Michael Conley.
Yeah, Mike Conley got yanked from the starting lineup too.
But he was getting minutes. He can't defend. Like, you can, not everybody has.
He can't defend anymore, and that's because he got old.
That's fine. I'm not disrespecting him like that. But De'Aaron Fox can't defend, but he has Wemby and a bunch of defenders.
De'Aaron Fox can't defend.
All right, let me say that again. Out of the team, if I had to pick on one person on San Antonio on that roster, on that starting lineup, who am I picking on?
Vassell
is a good defender. Fox is a better defender than those two?
Yes. Sean, y'all going to stop acting like Jalen Brunson had 5 good games. De'Aaron Fox had that brother in hell. What are we talking about?
Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, they got him.
All
right, let's get it right. And that was not just a De'Aaron Fox special.
De'Aaron Fox can defend. You hating on this one. I know I ain't happy with the brother right now either. But we like you just said, the reason we're not going to be disrespectful. De'Aaron Fox can defend.
Okay.
I think that is the best thing he does right now.
What I'm saying is,
and get downhill.
All I'm saying is you needed to try a Hail Mary, but now you come back with the same team. You better assume was going to take that step that he did in the postseason, and that wasn't just a regular thing. If he takes a step, we can have a different conversation. But who's still your point guard? Ant-Man's going to be your point guard now. Because it's again, so who, like, you don't, I don't know.
Well, Finchie was on the radio last week before, like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not having Ant at the one. Like, they need to get me a point guard in here. Finchie's words, not mine. So I'll be honest with you. If I'm Atlanta, I'm making a call now.
Of course.
Before I even call Minnesota, I'm calling Ant's agent. Let him know we want him home.
Forget that. I know his family's right here.
As soon as Ant says, I ain't too mad at it, I'm making the call.
Ant with Jalen Johnson and whoever.
But hold on, they got to give something up now.
I'm not giving Jalen Johnson up. You can have the whole roster and tonight's pick, but you ain't getting. I'm not giving up Jalen Johnson. I need Jalen Johnson with Ant-Man. I have those 2 guys. I'll figure it out. But no, I was gonna say about Minnesota. Minnesota should do this. They have to move either Naz Reid or Gobert and go get a point guard
and free up that money.
Free up the money.
Well, that's because they freed up the money and then used it on those soon moves. The money is not supposed to go to those soon moves.
Doesn't make sense why they did that. They need to go they need to move off. I would move Reed and go give me a point guard because Gobert got embarrassed by Wemby, but he was really good against Jokic. I gotta give him credit. He was special against Jokic, but he was embarrassed by Wemby. But it is what it is. And you got to move one of those guys. You got to break up the team. You cannot come back with the same team and expect Ant to be like, yo. And I agree with you. If I'm Ant, I'm looking at what they're building in Atlanta. I want to come home.
If I'm Boston, that's my conversation. His clock's ticking, and you just said I'm not moving Jaylen Brown unless I can get a top 5, top 10 player in return.
Jason Tatum.
We already did the Kevin Garnett trade with y'all back in the day. Go ahead and help us out again.
But do you feel like this is? I just got to say this because Jason Tatum is going under the radar. Don't you think a little bit JT wants his own team too?
I think he likes the idea of it. Deep down, I don't think he wants his own team.
Yeah, because they still got Giannis, and Giannis.
I think he lost that. I think he lost that when they blew that series against the Cavs in 2018. When they let that series get back to Game 7, when they should have finished it in 6 and wound up losing to LeBron and them, I think that left him right there. And whatever ounce of it he had left, because I think he started to get it back. I think he lost whatever ounce of it he had left in 22 when they lost to the Warriors.
Okay. Because my only thing is he idolized Kobe. That was his guy.
I think he knows he's not him by this point. I think he knows it.
My thing is for him to be in that lore of Celtics, he has a title, but he wasn't the finals MVP. Some people say he was not the best player. I think at some point he needs to become that guy in Boston. But who knows? But my thing is, I would, if I could get Ant-Man for Jaylen Brown, absolutely. I'm doing that tomorrow, yesterday, in the future, whatever you want to say. I'm doing that any time of the day. But I'm just wondering. It's gonna be interesting. But I think Minnesota's on the clock, and if I go out in the second round again, first round, get me out of here.
And I just think it's dangerous because a lot of these teams that just have multiple pieces to offer. You know, like if I'm the Spurs.
Oh, Castle.
It's a conversation.
Champ. The only person I'm not giving up is Harper and Wemby.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the only people. I'm Harper, Ant, and Wemby.
It's a conversation. Because if you're the Spurs, as long as you have Wemby and a power forward next to him, you can run a 3-guard lineup. You don't need a small forward.
Mm-mm.
So I'm fine playing Ant and Harper next to each other with a point guard. You know what I mean? And I probably don't have to give up Castle. I probably can skate by with Fox, Vassell, Champagny, and some picks. Maybe, depending on what the other offers are. If I'm Minnesota, I don't settle for it. I want Fox and Castle, and then either Vassell or Champagny with some picks. But it's just like it's teams out here with some stuff to offer. That's all I'm saying. So
Minnesota's playing with fire right now. That's why I threw that Austin Reeves thing out of there. But my point is, you have to go drastic when you have a different type of team because it's not good enough, and it's not good enough to keep my young superstar from looking otherwhere. We know Ant's looking around like, it's natural.
he's at All-Star every weekend, and he's going to be at every Olympics. And the other superstars of the league gravitate toward Ant.
He has that gravitational pull. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. And I don't blame anyone but Minnesota because they've been, as much as I love Tim Connolly, he's made some really poor choices recently. And we got to call him out for that. And that's just kind of what it is. He's made some really bad roster choices and given up some bad contracts. And it's put him what they're doing to Ant could turn out to be what they did to Jokic in Denver. And and Jokic has no chance to win another championship. Nope. As currently constructed, how Denver is.
That's another team. They better hope after this season he don't say, "Hey, send me to Luka."
Yeah, if I'm Jokic, I'm not signing an extension this offseason. I want to win a championship. Like I saw something this morning. It's true. Has any of these guys in the Jokic, Tatum, Giannis, any of them separate themselves from that generation of guys?
No, everybody's got one championship.
No one separated themselves as that guy. Like. Someone's got to separate themselves. And then we can talk about the Wimbys, the Ants next, but no one in that little pack age group, Brown, Jaylen Brown, none of them have separated themselves. And they might not. It might be Wimbys in SGA's league for the next 5-10 years. Who knows?
All right, Sean. Dusty May.
Della Dusty.
Fresh off a championship. Didn't he recently get a pay bump too?
He didn't sign the contract extension.
Ah. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, he
It
signed
was
it.
offered, wasn't given to him. He's the new Dallas Mavericks head coach,
Love it.
and the way college basketball is going now, apparently, was his reason for jumping ship. You said you love it. I'm gonna just remind you this. Only one of these guys has worked out, and it was Brad Stevens, and even he had to go from coaching to the front office.
Well, I would say this. The reason I love it, and I've done it if I was Destiny May. Seth Greenberg said something dope when I was watching Get Up this morning. He was like, the night they won the national championship, he was in his hotel recruiting some or doing something about next season. You can't build a culture there. It's all on edge. Every year you got to recruit your own players. College basketball needs some assistance to get it back to at least to somewhat semblance of normalcy, because it's the Wild Wild West. And I get why these coaches retire or move on. So that's one. Second, he's really young. He's 49. He does remind me of a young Brad Stevens. And I like his approach, his demeanor. I think he's going to be perfect for Dallas. And third, you get to work with Cooper Flag, like Cooper Flag, Anthony Edwards, and Victor Wembanyama in that order. Well, not in that order, but those three guys are my three guys. If I couldn't leave, and I knew I had the opportunity to coach those guys, if I was a collegiate coach, I'm out, because those guys are really young, and I think those three guys could be the best player in the league within the next 5 years. Wemby, and then you could battle between Cooper and Anthony Edwards. So yeah, and you get an opportunity to coach a generational talent. I like Masai Ujiri. I know you wasn't a big fan of him, but shout out to Masai for going getting Dusty May.
Question: before you finish that, can we stop loosely using the phrase generational talent? Generational talent means once in a generation, there's a player like you come along. These can't be all generational talents. When we call somebody a generational talent every 2 draft classes, man. Like,
is Wemby a generational talent?
Y'all said it for Ben Simmons, and he wasn't. Y'all said Zion Williamson, and he wasn't. Like, generational talents are Victor Wembanyama. I'll put Jokic in that conversation because we've never seen a big man play the game like he does.
But he wasn't coming out as a generational.
But not coming out, no.
Okay.
Right now, the generational talents of basketball: Wemby, Jokic, LeBron,
Steph.
I'll put Kyrie in that list because no one has had his handle. Respect the Iverson, respect the Cousy, respect the Zeke. No one has had Kyrie's handle. Rafer Alston wasn't a thing in the NBA. Kyrie, the reason I won't put Kobe is because we already had Michael.
Yeah, he copied everything about Michael. Yeah.
Michael, Magic, Shaq.
Bird wasn't a generational talent?
Wilt. Larry, because no one was that big and that stiff.
Yeah.
And able to do that. Yeah, so Larry.
He made it possible for Paul Pierce's and Luka Doncic's.
Yeah, Larry. I'll put Kareem. I can't disrespect him. Whole career. And yeah, Kareem. Pistol Pete.
Yep.
Jerry West. No one could do what him and Oscar Robertson. No one could do what they did. And I'm going to probably put Mike in there because that was like the first superstar. And that's it.
Okay, so you don't think Cooper or Edwards are there because they've been duplicates of those guys?
No, it's just D Wade with a better jump shot.
And what's Cooper?
What is Cooper?
You tell me. You're the one that gave it out.
No, like that's the question.
So
what is Cooper Flag like?
Well, all right. So let me but I do think Cooper and Edwards and Wemby will be the top 3 of the 5 best players within the next 5 years.
We'll see. It's a possibility. And before Cooper got that injury that had down, it's like we can shut you down. He was starting to come into that, so we'll see.
My point is, Dusty
I'm not
got
trying to knock Cooper Flag. I think that's where you. I'm not knocking Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper's gonna be a top. If you worst case scenario, he's a top 15 player in the NBA. Yeah, top 10, top 15 player easily. All right, so that's why Dusty May left, and I trust Mazai, and the owner is him and the Clippers owner are the richest owners in the NBA, so it makes sense. He gave Jason Kidd $40 million to walk away, and May coming for cheap. So you're gonna get the best advanced scout, and you're gonna have the GM is getting paid high. You're gonna pay. It's a great organization to go to.
As long as Dusty May is able to coach basketball and not analytics, then they'll be fine. Because I'm gonna tell you this right here. The next coach to come along and actually have an offense will not need a talented roster. They'll win a championship because no one runs anything anymore.
No.
So you don't know how to defend it. The next coach to come along with a system is going to win a chip. Man, it might win multiple.
I think, do you feel like I've always felt like he's more innovative than a lot of college coaches. If he's just doing pick and pops in the NBA, then he should have just stayed in college.
Exactly.
He should be able to, if he could come in, run his system and make it unique to Cooper's talent, whoever they get tonight. Hopefully, I would love if they could give him Mikael Brown, but he might not be there at the time they draft.
And you got to think, now that Dusty's coming from college, there's going to be a conversation. Mikael Brown ain't coming into my locker room. I don't know if you've seen, but word on the street is him and his camp got a damn good argument for being worse than Darren Peterson in his camp.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard too much about Brown in the situation, but yeah, I think Michigan's a good job. But you know what? I'm not mad about Dusty. He was only there for 2-3 years. He won a national.
Indiana alone, but he got his natty.
He got his natty. He got him. He got the program back to after the Juwan Howard years, back steady. Go get your money and go coach Cooper Flag for the next 10, 15 years. And a stable it's crazy we say this. The NBA is more stable than college basketball. That was
never the case.
That was never the case. So I get why these coaches and guys move on from the college sports right now.
All right, Sean, the Jazz are torn on the number 2 pick. They don't know, regard to who's left, who they are going to take. If you were Utah, who would you take? And I think this conversation has to include who would you take if you're the Wizards at number 1, because that sets up this whole conversation.
Well, so I think that, I think Utah is in the best position in the draft. They just take whoever is left over. All right. So if hold on one second. So who's left over, and I know that sounds crazy, but if I was Washington, man, it's just really tough for me because Darren Peterson is special, man. Offensively, that kid is special. Like KD special coming out of college, like how he can score. We know he's gonna be a 25 to 30 point per game scorer in the NBA because he's that special. I just think, and I don't like to go roster fit when I'm bad. I think go best talent, but for what I lean to, I think AJ will go 1, even though I might take Peterson, but Peterson going 2. I think Peterson in the Western Conference, in Utah with Ainge and those guys with Will Hardy, that's where I would want to go. And I think his desire to be the point guard, I know you hate that, they're going to let him do that in Utah. I don't know. And we'll get to your boy Trey being there for 4 years, and that's not going to happen in Washington. So AJ number 1, 2, Darren Peterson number 2. I don't think Boozer is going to be a really good player, but if he's Şengün, that's a solid career for him. I don't think he's going to be better than Şengün like that. So I'm taking Peterson number 2.
Yeah, if I'm the Wizards, look, I already have Bub Carrington, who I need for PR purposes, and I like Trey Johnson a lot. I think that's just one of those shooters that you can't pass up on, but he can also score on his own. Like if Trey Johnson had a Mark Jackson and a Steve Kerr, Leave it at that. So I take the Bonsa. And I can figure out what to do with Kayshawn George later. I know I can get something for him. And I'm probably going to have to move Anthony Davis for a center because I'm not extending him, and he wants one.
Hell no.
So
hell no.
And I'm not a fan of that money for Trae Young.
Are we talking about that now? I was waiting. Are we talking about that now?
It's coming up. It's coming up.
All right.
But we shall see. So I think because the Bance is the best fit right there, I'm Utah. Normally, I'd say I'd think about trading down a spot and ending up with Acuff next to Keontae George. But I think Darren Peterson's just going to be better than the guy. I really do. That's the 2 guard if I've ever seen one in Darren Peterson. Got to go best player.
Absolutely.
I already got log jams on my roster. To hell with it. Create another one. Like, yeah. I'm about to trade Walker Kessler to clear 1 log jam up. I don't like it because that's probably going to mean Jaren Jackson starting at the 5, which I just hate. But, hey, I'm just over here trying to stockpile talent and then figure out what to do from there. I don't think it's a question because you ain't adding Cam Boozer to all those daggone big men they already have. You just ain't adding them to it. And I don't think the Banter falls past number 1. So if I'm Utah, it's nothing to be torn on.
No.
I got a number 24. No. Who had 24 in Utah? Nobody. Yeah, I'm sure Pistol Pete had 7 by the time he got to the Jazz. So yeah. I got a 24 printed out for Darren Peterson. All right, here you go. Matter of fact, you don't even got to show up to the draft. You with a whole party for you, your family, and all your homeboys, wherever, right here in Salt Lake City. You fly everybody out too. Welcome to the Jazz. I don't even think it's a conversation.
Even if Peterson never develops that crazy mentality, he's so talented. He's going to average 20 to 25 points a game in the NBA, and that's scary. So I think, and I'm Utah. This is why, if you look at the 2 teams who the NBA champions are the Knicks, but even if you put the Knicks in that category, you need to have about 8 to 10 guys in the NBA now going forward. It can no longer be you really top heavy. Utah, go get the best talent.
Well, you've always had to be able to play at least 8 guys. 7. You've always had to be able to go 7 deep. Now, I don't think that's new.
But these teams, San Antonio, OKC just got rid of Wiggins, and he was the 11th guy. He's going to be like the 7th guy on Atlanta's roster.
And what did I say? The new CBA, OKC is what made me excited about the new CBA. Just from a basketball watching standpoint, I'm excited to see these guys go somewhere else and flourish. That was where I don't like penalizing them for being such good drafters at all. I don't like that at all. I'm just saying from a standpoint of just strictly watching basketball, just strictly watching 5-on-5 on the floor. I'm excited to see those guys get their opportunity elsewhere. That's all.
I see what you're saying, but again, I think Kenrich Williams, you're going to lose a lot of depth. I know they got 2 first-round picks in this draft, so whatever. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, like, come on, man. They about to replace all these cats.
But boo-hoo, I get that part. I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say that. So how do we get that the way? So they had to move. So they can't have everybody back and take those picks. So I get that part.
I want to see my boy Isaiah Joe get a chance somewhere else.
Yeah, they'll get the opportunity, and they develop them really well.
Like, again, when they add somebody, if they're ready to play, they'll play him. Jared McCain. He's ready to play. They played him. And Philly, again, just jack asses.
Yeah, that time, Jessica and McCain was different in the postseason. I give him credit for that. But yeah, I think you just need to have a deep roster and figure it out. Ace Bailey's going to be the odd man out, whoever they pick. But Ace is going to come off the bench. He's just going to be a microwave scorer. And then when it's time to get paid, he might go somewhere else.
Boy, I'm going to be honest with you.
Go ahead.
They do have to get unclogged at some point.
At some point.
Move forward.
At some point.
With Peterson, Bailey, and Marketing is my 3 guys. Well, they're moving marketing because they traded for Jackson, so they kind of have to make Jackson their guy. Peterson,
Ace.
Bailey, and Jackson just have to be my three guys. George and Markkinen and Kessler and Nurkic, whatever. Cody Williams, all of them can be moved to find my point guard, my center, and my sixth man. But I got to move forward with Peterson, Bailey, and Jackson as my 2, 3, and 4.
Those are your key pieces. And I think, I know you don't like it, but I think at some point, if they're going to go with the big lineup with no move marketing, Ace should be a 1, Bailey would be a 2. Offensively, that team's going to be scary. I don't know if they're going to stop anybody. But
Peterson's the one you mean.
Peterson, excuse me. Yeah, and Peterson, Ace, Bailey, number 2. But those are your 3 pieces. And then everybody else just float. It's like OKC, you have your 3 pieces. Like San Antonio, you have your 3 pieces. And everybody else revolves. It's not new. Michael, Scotty, and Dennis or Horace. You have those 3 pieces, and the other guys are interchangeable. So I think Utah got those 3 pieces.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at them rosters, Chicago didn't really change their rosters for their 3-peats. I think that's what impresses me the most with the Bulls. Most teams, they need to add new blood to keep that hunger, the repeat. They stayed fairly the same for their 2, 3-peats. Like the team, no. I'm saying like each team from the first 3-peat, them rosters didn't change.
Oh, yeah. The first 3. Okay, yeah.
And then the second 3-peat, obviously nowhere near the same roster as first one. Once they got their roster for the second 3-peat, it didn't change.
No, it didn't change. Yeah, but my point is,
that's what really is impressive.
That's a good point
about what Michael did, because the 90s is the Bulls 2 3-peats and Houston's repeat. Houston had 1 repeat and still had to add Clyde Drexler to even be a contender the next year.
Good point.
That's what's so impressive about what Chicago did in the 90s.
Yeah, it was crazy because it's kind of like plug and play. You give it a Grant, you put Rodman. You give rid of Paxson, you get Kerr. Like it was like they had a prototype for each for who they needed around that roster. But the key is you have to have your 2, 3 guys. And I think we'll talk about Washington right now, but I think Utah's in a really good position. I think they're going to have their 3 guys. And once you have your 3 guys, you'll figure it out from there.
The Lakers 3-peat also. Not much change.
No.
Not much change at all. So, I mean, because Showtime, they were and Nixon for Scott and Wilkes for Worthy and Haywood for McAdoo. Rambis and AC Green get slotted in along the way. They had some revolving characters. The Celtics had to do some moving around.
Do you think we ever see a team
Phil Jackson? That's why we say Phil Jackson has the best system.
Oh, of course.
Because it is hard
plug and play
to win that much without changing your roster. It is hard. So shout out to him.
Do you think we ever see anyone win more than 3 titles in a row? Like get 4?
Hell, I don't think we're going to see another 3-peat for him.
Long time.
The Warriors didn't even 3-peat.
I know they had the chance and they lost because KD and stuff like that. I don't think we see a 3-peat. I don't even want to guess. Not in this era. Yeah, this is going to be a long time for a 3-peat.
What do we have next? All right, so Sean, you wanted to go.
Oh yeah, no, and you got to stay on screen for this one. Again, we got to hold each other accountable on this podcast, and we have. I got to hold accountable about a bunch of things so far this year. My boy Javon said when the Hawks traded Trae Young to the Wizards, how he liked the trade. And I was like, but his caveat was, let's wait for the extension, right? And I'm thinking 2 years, 20 million a year, 25 million a year.
I was fine with a 2-year, $60 million deal.
30
million a year. It's fine with that.
You gave Trae Young, and that's why I lost all faith in the Wizards. I gotta be honest. When I saw this yesterday, a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. That contract's one of the worst contracts in the NBA already. He'll never. Who would want to take that? He's making $50-something million a year as a fringe all-star.
And it's backloaded.
And you told Javon, be telling me. That's why I didn't like the trade at the beginning of the year. Because who were you bidding against? Who was going to give Trae that type of money? I did not like that trade when it happened because I'm like, yo,
The Heat wanted him.
He should go to Miami. But what does that, especially what I don't like about Trey is with that young talent around him. That's why I didn't like it. It didn't work in Atlanta because he was too ball dominant. And now you get in the number one pick by AJ, and you have Anthony Davis, you have all that, and you give him a 4-year, $212 million contract with a player option in the after the third year. Like you treated him like he was an all-star. Like he was one of the guys.
You treated him like he was no worse than second team All NBA.
One of the worst contracts. We're going to be talking about this.
And you still haven't fired Brian Keefe. Brian Keefe is going to be your coach next season.
Like I said in the last segment, if I was AJ, because AJ might be the number one pick, I texted last night, I don't want to go there. I don't like Keefe. That's a bad contract. I trust the Angels and I trust Will Hardy in the owner in Utah. Even if I had to live in Utah, I don't care. I'm rich. I can fly.
I just did a year in Utah. Whatever.
Exactly. He was already in Utah. I don't want to play in Washington. That's a bad because Trey's not going to elevate Peterson or DeBonsters with his style of play. Jalen Johnson became who he became when Trey was out.
Yeah.
Someone make it make sense. I'm looking at that car. I was like, nah, they gave him $212 million and a player option. You cannot trade that contract. That's a horrible contract when you have a bunch of young guys who need to develop. And if you gave him that, what are you going to give Anthony Davis? I lost faith. Your hype for the Wizards a couple months ago, they would come. They're going to be back. I'm
gone.
I'm done with that. That was
horrible. I got nothing to add. Nothing to add.
That's it. The horrible contract, one of the worst contracts in the NBA, and it hasn't even kicked in yet. Bad contract. Bad team building. You're bidding against yourselves. That's bad team building. You're bidding against yourself in this era.
I got 2 words for you. Ted Leonsis.
And I mean, Trey Young's is cool with Will Dawkins, and that's why he knew he wanted to go to Washington because he knew he was going to get paid. Will Dawkins, what's your job? Your job is to build the best team and get Washington out of this funk. There's no way in the world that Trey Young should be making 2 times more than what Jalen Brunson is making. Think about that. On a 4-year contract, and he plays no defense, no effort. Oh, man, horrible. Shout out to Trey. I'm never mad at people getting money, but that's horrible team building by Washington. I'd be sick if I was a Wizard fan.
All right, well, back to the Wizards, the Jazz side of this thing. So Walker Kessler is unhappy with the extension being offered to him. He thinks he's worth more. He thinks he's worth $30 million a year. Walker, I love you. It's starting to become a trend with you because the Tar Heels are going to be his team.
Yep.
And he's still transferred to Auburn. Now, granted, playing next to Jabari Smith was great. That was one of Bruce Pearl's best seasons. That Auburn team was a point guard away from a national championship. Can't convince me otherwise. All right. Now you get to the NBA. You're in a good situation. And you're about to force your way out. Because you think you're worth more than you actually are. Yeah. Nah, I don't know about this. Any suitors come to mind, though, for you for Walker Kessler?
I heard something and I think it makes perfect sense. It seems like he wants to be force them to trade him to LA. That's the team I want to play. I want to play with Luka. I want to be in Los Angeles. For years, the Lakers have. And it seems like something like behind the scenes, like $28 million for Walker Kessler. He played what 6-7 games last year, something ridiculous low. $28 million. Like we talked about Jalen Duren, those guys. That's a reasonable contract for $28 to $30 million for those guys. That sounds like you want to be traded and you're going to force your way. And the only place that makes the most sense because they have the cap space and they can make it work is the Lakers. And you could play next to Luka on that big stage. And I think he's a perfect fit for what the Lakers need. So, and the only way it works is to sign and trade. So say, I don't want to be here. I'm going to get unhappy. But one thing about, I definitely know about Danny Ainge, he's not going to be bullied. And so he's going to do his best for the Utah Jazz. So he'll sign that. You can sign an offer sheet with the Lakers. And you'll be right back into Utah. So it just sounds like he wants to be a Laker, and that's but this is his only alternative right now.
I mean, he is a good commodity.
He is.
Like Toronto's looking for an upgrade over Jakob Poeltl. I'd call Kessler that right now. Orlando. I'm sick of seeing Wendell Carter and Goga Bitadze. That wouldn't be bad. Like you said, the Lakers always need a big fella. Why not? Why not?
Only makes sense if you can. But what assets you want from Lakers? You want Austin Reeves in that team? No. Like, I don't know.
The Clippers lost their big fella.
Am I getting the 5th pick in the draft?
Giving them no 5th pick for no Walker Kessler.
Whoa, Zubac got traded for the 5th pick. What are we talking?
Yeah, I fleeced them. I'm not going to turn around and get fleeced myself. Oh, no, sir. No, sorry, Bob. No.
I'm still sick of I'm a Pacers fan. I love Kevin Pritchard, but you got to go. I was a Fireball fan.
In this draft class.
Yeah, we all knew it was you didn't make that pick top 10 protected. The Clippers wouldn't have done it, but I would have figured out. You had the 5th pick in this draft. You could have got yourself traded back and got you a center and got more assets. Like, you would have been all right. Horrible move. And now you could have probably got Miles Turner on the cheap to bring him back. But that's another conversation for another day.
All right. Well, Sean, you keep talking about Austin Reeves. Word on the street is the Lakers could leave this thing with
running back.
They could be running it back with Reeves and Looper.
Yeah, I think it's whatever. Like, at some point, the Lakers have to look at themselves in the mirror, because we can say whatever.
And that's going to make them lose Luka, by the way.
Oh, of course. In like 3 years, because unless Jokic, like you said in one of the segments before, Jokic says, get me out here. I'm a free agent next summer. I want to be a Laker. That's a long shot. And I would love to see someone build a championship defense around Luka and Jokic. It'll be fun to watch, but damn, that would be crazy to see. I would love to see how that works.
Them playoff games would be 130 to 126.
Yeah. That's the only way they will be able to do it. From what I've read or heard, the best options might be to just run it back for a year and try it again in 2027.
This isn't a good free agency class. I don't know why they promised Luka 26 would be the summer when 27 is the summer with everybody available.
Yeah, and Luka didn't do them any favorites either. I know he lost, but no, actually, I couldn't either. I lost a big bag from Dallas.
Yeah.
I lost almost 100-something millions to Dallas, so I got to get every cent back or make some money back. So my problem is that
and Cali taxes are nowhere near as friendly as Texas taxes.
Exactly. So I lost a lot of money. So the only thing I would say is if I was the Lakers, maybe just run it back, try for the 3rd, 4th seed in the West again, and hope 27 you can improve the team, because there's no free agents here. You don't have the assets. And you just got to tell Luka, yo, we lied, and that's how bad. Let's run it back. And they were a competitive team. And if Luka played against OKC, they wouldn't have got swept. Would they have won 2 games? Maybe?
No. I think they played so good because they didn't have Luka. The ball moved. And they had guys out there actually trying on defense.
Oh, remember March and April, Luka would put himself in the MVP conversation. He was special.
And I'm going to say it again. I watched all the Lakers games against OKC, regular and postseason. I'm going to say it again. They played OKC so well in the playoffs because they did not have Luka.
That doesn't make sense to me. Didn't Luka knock OKC out the playoffs 3 years ago?
Is that the same OKC team that we see right now?
They're just a younger team, but the same roster.
Nah, man. No. I'm going to say it one more time for you, Sean. They played well because they did not have Luka. They were running. and passing and trying on defense. You don't get any of that with Luka.
So what are you gonna do? We could say without Luca, that's not the reality. How do you build a contender or a team around Luca?
You have to get him another guard. You have to get him another combo guard. Brunson and Kyrie were his two best years. So you have to get him another point guard that can come off the ball at times. His small forward needs to be a lockdown defender that can sit in the corner and knock that three ball in. You got to get him a stretch four that can rebound. And you got to get him a center who can catch a oop and block shots.
So I never thought you would be a delusional Laker fan.
And that's exactly what he had in Dallas. I'm not saying they can get him there. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you said, how do you build? That's the team you need around Luka. Are the Lakers going to build that? Hell no.
They can't. Not this offseason. No. Like not with this free agent class and the lack of assets they have. Their best bet, if they're trying to, you got to tell Luka, we can build it over the next 2-3 years. And you're only 27 years old. You have to move Austin Reeves for some assets. You're not going to move LeBron for anything at this point. But I'm not going to you got to bring LeBron or Reeves back because you can't replace them because there's no one to replace them in the free agent class. So you have to bring one of them back at least. And so if I'm moving Reeves because he has more. No, I think Reeves should be moved. He has more value. And I could get some more assets. He has more value than LeBron at this point.
But who's gonna play though? You know what I mean? Like you still can't just cage the season in.
Yeah, then you bring Reeves back. Oof. And then maybe try to get a Daniel Gafford.
I can always trade Reeves.
Yeah, once he's signed in the contract, that's why I'm not mad in this new NBA. I think
so. Like if I'm starting Smart at the 1, Reeves at the 2, Luka at the 3, I could somehow pull off a trade for Kessler, and I'm just figuring out what I'm doing at the 4. That's fine for this season. And then next summer, all right, it's time to shuffle some stuff around.
But the thing is, Javon, who are you giving up for Kessler?
Yeah, you can't finagle that deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, the Lakers are in a tough position, but you know why? And then the reason they're in a more tough position because of the 2 teams in the Western Conference. And then I think Houston's going to be better. I think Utah's going to be a better team.
As long as Kevin Durant's there, they ain't improving nothing.
They were really good when they had Steven Adams in without VanVleet. Like, let's see how he plays this year. But I'm not saying they're going to win, but do I think Kevin Durant and them beat them in the first round if KD was healthy? Maybe.
I think they still could have lost.
And maybe you do the signing trade with Golden. Listen, you could do a rebuild year, a gap year, quote unquote, and then trade Reeves and LeBron to in the signing trade for the Warriors, and then Reeves somewhere else, and then just tell Luka we're stacking all our assets for 27.
Yeah.
That's another option.
Yeah. Who do you want from the Warriors? I'm not walking out there without Quentin Post.
I would love Quentin Post. I think he's underplayed for some reason. Steve Kerr doesn't like young kids. He's done a horrible job developing because he didn't develop Steph and those guys. They would develop. No. They just need a new system. He's a horrible. That's one that knock on him I don't like. He does not do a good job developing young guys. I think
I'm not leaving without Quentin Post and Gui Santos.
Yeah, I think those are good pieces. I would tell Luka, I would tell Luka this year? I would be like, Luka, we're not going to contend for a title. If you want to go average, be the first person since Will to average 40 in a season, let this be your Kobe 2006 season. That's exactly what. If you want to try to score 100 in a game, I would tell Luka, go do whatever the hell you want to do this year. We're not going to win. We're going to get valuable pieces for these guys, and then we're going to build it the right way.
Yeah, and then you're going to go out there with Marcus Smart, Luka, Gui Santos, Rick Mora, and Quentin Post.
Yes. Yes. Kobe in 06, excuse me.
And Nick Smith as your 6 man.
Kobe in 06.
There have been worse rosters.
Lavavia, like domination, like we're gonna have. I'm telling you, I'm going Kobe 06 with him. If you want to win a championship, we got to build the right way.
All right.
That's a
Oh yeah,
horrible
yeah, yeah.
team.
But you gotta also we gotta see what you get for Reeves in that conversation also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Oof. Yeah, have fun selling them on that. You oof.
That'll be tough. But that's your best option to build it long term.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah. You can't run it back with everybody.
Yeah. All right, and last one for us. The Yankees are playing pretty good without Aaron Judge.
Ben Rice should be in the MVP conversation.
Cam Slittler's easily in the Cy Young conversation.
I don't think it's in the conversation. I think he's the leader.
He is the conversation.
Yeah, he is the conversation. It's his trophy to lose. Shout out to the only downside about the Yankees I have is I have concern about their bullpen. And Garrett didn't look really good yesterday against Detroit. But whatever, he's still working himself up. The Yankees have two things. They have Rice actually gives them a little balance between Judge and him. And when Judge was having a good season before he got hurt, still MVP caliber. Stanton hasn't been healthy. The rotation starting to round to shape. The AL is trash. Let's call it spade a spade. The Yankees are the best team in the American League. And I'm not saying that as a Yankee homer or anything like that. That's the best team in the American League. The American League is trash. Not to say anyone can win it, though, if you get hot. So that's how baseball is. But top to bottom, even with their bad bullpen, and they could go to the deadline and go get some help, that's the best team in the American League. And I don't think it was close.
No, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to the trade deadline because we're going to see who is sick of being mid, and we're going to see who actually doesn't want to win. And all these middling teams in the American League, whoever is sellers at the deadline, should have 0 season ticket holders next season.
Red Sox.
Simple and plain. Boston's going to sell 31-45 is, and we were talking about them. It's like a guarantee for the playoffs
Easily.
At 34-44, Schoolball's on the move.
Of course.
Houston's window is closed. Call them for their guys. One of these teams, it won't be both. One of Minnesota and Cleveland's going to sell. One of them is just going to be sick of being in the middle, period.
Minnesota should do that.
So, there's Buxton for you. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to the deadline. The National League, fun. Thank you for giving us good baseball. I mean, that wild card race goes down to, let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 3 teams tied for the 6th seed. And 1, 2, 3 after that are still at 500 or better. And then Cincinnati's not out of it. They're only 3 games under 500 and 3 games out of the wild card. The Mets somehow at 6 games are still holding on. You only got 2 teams that are absolutely out of it right now in the National League, and that's San Fran and Colorado. You look at the American League, season's over for Kansas City, Boston, the Angels, Detroit. Houston and Minnesota. Houston's coming up on that territory. They're only 3 games out. They can get it together. Minnesota can get it together. Baltimore looks like it's trying to get it together. Toronto, Oakland, Texas, hanging on. But I'm just not moved by any of them. Like, I'm not moved by any team in the American League wildcard race but Tampa.
Yeah, only team I'm impressed with, is Tampa.
And I'm not impressed by the other 2 division winners, the White Sox and the Mariners. There's only 2 teams in the American League that's worth a damn. It's the Yankees and the Rays.
This would be one of the biggest disappointments if my Yankees don't get to the World Series this year.
Easy.
Easy. It should be them trying to stop the Dodgers to be the first team since I think them to win 3 straight titles. So, and that's not even guaranteed Dodgers gets out the National League. So, But that's another conversation. This is their time. This is the best Yankee teams they had it in a long time. Someone said this, and this is funny. They were like, the Yankees haven't won since 09. It feels like 50-some years. The Yankees not winning is the equivalent of what the Knicks 53 years are since 09. And I was like, damn, that might be a true statement because history shows every 7 years, the Yankees was posting a championship. And they haven't won since 09? 17 years? That's an eternity for a Yankee fan. This is the longest drought in the I don't know. I probably it's the longest drought in Yankee history. So it's time. They gotta get to the chip. And they have this. And the thing that makes me confident about them, they have the starting pitcher to compete. That's the key.
Yeah, boo-hoo, whatever. Shout out to Donnie Baseball, by the way.
Yes.
For what he's been able to do with the Phillies.
He better be getting that managerial job.
and St. Louis. That was a team that was
tanking.
like they was headed towards the rebuild last year and the year before, and 8 games over 500 and on the 4th seed. So shout out to those two teams.
And by the way, if I'm the Cubs, I go get Scubo as a rental.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else?
Nah, just everybody stay safe. Definitely NBA draft tonight. I think we know the top 4. And then the draft starts at 5.
Yeah. Let's see. Brady Kachuk to the Hurricanes. That was something to wake up to.
Yep.
Way to stay greedy. I got one thing. Where the hell is Cristiano Ronaldo?
It looks like he got old quick.
All the superstars are showing up. Messi. I watched Haaland last night.
Mbappe.
I watched Mbappe yesterday. Harry Kane, Mo Salah. All of the superstars have come to play in this tournament. Where's Cristiano Ronaldo?
Can we put that debate to rest?
I think it's done. I think it's done.
Okay, all right.
And I was a Ronaldo guy for a long time.
Can we put that debate for us? That it's over. That man from Argentina, that's the GOAT.
Yeah,
like that's
owns the all-time World Cup goal record. And Mbappe's only 2 away now, by the way, after yesterday.
He's special. He's still relatively young. He could definitely challenge for that title in the next 10, 15 years. But for now, let's please put that conversation to rest.
Yeah. And the Americans are good at soccer? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what you're seeing?
I would love to see them.
About to beat Turkey on Thursday?
Well, they're not going to play their guys. It doesn't mean anything, but.
Yeah. They've already won the group, pretty much.
Yeah.
And boy, I mean, this ain't far at all from them being killed for being the most spoiled, entitled, and underachieving generation of American soccer. Yeah, they out here doing their thing. So shout out.
Yeah, they pull it off. You never know. Because what about soccer? It's just you never know. They're not the favorites going into the knockout round, but you never know.
All right. Well, that's all I got. So we'll be back tonight for the draft.
Yep. See you guys tonight.
All right.